Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala ashrafil mursaleen, Sayyidina wa Habibina Mawlana Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim. So just a few words from to share inshaAllah. In the last lesson we spoke about the nafs. So in previous lessons we spoke about the qalb, and we spoke about the ruh, and in the last lesson we spoke about the nafs, the dual nature of the nafs, and that the way that the nafs should be brought under control and brought under guidance, basically, that the nafs should be fulfilled in a way that pleases Allah and a way that Allah Ta'ala has ordained, and it shouldn't control and dominate a human being. Today I want to speak about the aql. The aql. So a good place generally in Arabic to start is, I always like to start with, what does the word mean? Like aql. What does the word mean? Because Arabic is a language where the words, if you simply just add a one-word translation, you lose a lot of the meaning. But if you go to the dictionary and you actually read the entries in the dictionary, it adds richness and depth to the word. So for example, if I'm going to open my dictionary now, and I'm going to go to dictionary here, and I'm going to type in Ain Qaf Lam, I'm going to come to the word Aqala. So let me go back there again. Ain Qaf Lam. I'm going to come to Aqala Ya'qilu. So the first meaning that they give here is that they say that the verb aqala means to hobble with an iqal. The verb aqala means to hobble with an iqal, referring to a camel. I'll come back to it now, inshallah. It means to intern, confine, detain, arrest, put under arrest, and so on. To pay blood money as well. To be endowed with the faculty of reason. To be reasonable, to have intelligence, to be in one's senses. So that is the word aql. Now you can see, like, it's strange because now we're talking about a camel whose legs are being tied and hobbling, and talking about intelligence. So this is what I mean about Arabic, is that there's depth in the meaning. And there's many other meanings. But let's go with that, inshallah. If you look at further, you see here, you have something called an iqal. You have something called an iqal here. It is a cord used for hobbling the feet of a camel. It's also a headband made from a camel's hair. It's also for holding the kufiya. Kufiya is like a real word, eh? It's holding the kufiya in place. So an iqal is a thing that the Arabs wear. You know, the two black, like a black band, and then they put the kufiya on, and some they put a scarf on, and that thing they put on top of them is called a what? An iqal. And that iqal, you'll notice, normally has two bands, because originally that two bands were actually, when you parked your camel, you basically tied its forelegs, so the camel can't run away, and therefore if the camel had to like get up and walk, it will struggle to walk, it will hobble, it will aqala. It will aqala. Okay, so let's go back. So what do we establish? We establish that the word aql comes from a verb which means to restrain something. And it comes from this thing called an iqal, which means it's a piece of rope which is there to restrain the camel from running away, and also restrain your fez from blowing away, It is there to hold something back. So the word aql actually means something of causing restraint. In all those meanings, whether the camel or whether it's your kufiya, whatever the case is, and you put on this aqala thing, it is there to cause restraint. So in this diagram of a human being, what is the aql supposed to do? What is the aql supposed to restrain? And what the aql is actually supposed to restrain, this aql that has intelligence, is that the aql's job is actually to be the rational, thinking, logical, intelligent part of a human being that is able to restrain and hold back and tie down a person's lower desires, a person's emotional passions, someone's anger, someone's greed, and those things. That the aql is actually something of restraint. Something of restraint. And from this we get the verb ya'qilun. Ya'qilun. So normally we translate ya'qilun, which is correct. We translate as ya'qilun, afala ya'qilun, afala ta'qilun. Do they not think? Do you not think? We have this verb, do you not think? But I want you also to understand that behind the verb is also the meaning of restraint. That if you have someone who is unrestrained in their emotions and in their passions and in their desires and in their quest for something, then they actually cease to be intelligent. They cease to be a thinking, intelligent, reasonable human being. But if you have someone who is able to restrain their lower passions and their desires and their anger and their lust and all these things, then they become intelligent. They become intelligent. Therefore the Prophet ﷺ would say that the qawi, the one that is strong, is not the one who can wrestle someone down, but the one who is strong is able to control himself when he becomes angry. Why? Because that person has intelligence, they have an aql, and that is a form of strength. It's a form of strength. So one benefit of tribulation, and in a sense we are all going through a period of tribulation now. One benefit of loss, we've all lost a sense of movement, and there may be more losses ahead. There may be financial losses, loss of life, loss of health. One benefit of these things is it actually stills the lower desires and the passions, and it's able to bring forth a person's intelligence. You're able to see things more clearly, appreciate things more clearly. So this is the aql. Now I'd like us to go, and the aql is mentioned a number of times in the Quran. I just took a selection of verses. What does Allah say about the aql? Allah says in the one verse, in different verses, كَذَلِكَ يُبَيِّنُ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ آيَاتِهِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. Allah says in the verses, كَذَلِكَ, like that. يُبَيِّنُ اللَّهُ. يُبَيِّنُ is actually a verb, and the verb Allah there is actually the fa'il. The word Allah is the fa'il, the doer. It was in raf. يُبَيِّنُ اللَّهُ. Allah clarifies lakum, for you, ayatihi. He clarifies what ayatihi, and you know ayati is a jam'un mu'annathun salimun and can't take a fatha, like muslimatu, muslimati, muslimati, ayatu, ayati, and if ayat is going to be a maf'ulun bihi. Anyway, كذلك, like that. يُبَيِّنُ اللَّهُ. Allah clarifies lakum, for you, ayatihi, His signs. He makes His signs manifest. Why? لَعَلَّكُمْ, in order that you تَعْقِلُونَ, from aql, you are able to suspend and to control your irrational, your lower desires. You're able to transcend that, and you're able to think clearly and see clearly and attain intelligence. This is why the ayat of Allah are there. Allah says in another verse, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَعِبٌ وَلَهْوٌ. وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا, and the hayat, the life, الدُّنْيا, the worldly life is not, إِلَّا, except la'ib, it's a whole lot of games. Can you imagine that? The whole lot of games. Wallahu, and it's a whole lot of amusement. Allah says that the nature of this dunya is that the nature of the dunya, there's lots of games, there's lots of distraction, there's a lot of waste of time, there's a lot of entertainment, a lot of amusement. And Allah says, وَلَدَّارُ الْآخِرَةِ, and لَدَّارُ الْآخِرَةِ, and definitely the abode of the akhirah, of the year after. So leave the dunya one side. That the abode of the year after is khayrun, is better, لِلَّذِينَ يَتَّقُونَ, for those that have taqwa. For those that have taqwa. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ, are you not able to have an aql? Are you not able to think and see and have some intelligence that this life is just play and amusement, and that the real life is the next life? This is the clarity that the Quran wants to manifest within our minds. Next verse, Allah says, Inna sharra dawabi, verily the sharra dawab means the worst of dawab, and dawab means creatures, normally refers to cattle. That the worst of creatures, the worst of cattle, the worst indallahi, with Allah. It's referring to human beings. That the worst of creatures to Allah, with Allah, is a summul bukmu, is the one that is sum, the one that is unable to hear. Meaning what? Is unable to hear the truth. Is unable to listen and to hear the truth. Bukmun is unable to speak, unable to express the truth. Who are these people who are unable to hear, unable to speak? الَّذِينَ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ, it is those that لَا يَعْقِلُونَ, those who have no aql, those who have no restraint, those who have no intelligence, those who have no clarity of thought. Next verse, again we're looking at how Allah uses aql in the Quran. Allah says, Inna, verily we Allah, anzalnahu, we have revealed it, we have sent it down, Qur'anan Arabiyan, as a Quran. And what type of Quran, what type of recitation? Arabiyan, in an Arabic Quran. Why did Allah send down this Arabic Quran? As we are studying Arabic and we're studying the Quran, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ, in order that you may have an aql, that you may think and you may have restraint and you may see things as they should be. Last verse. On the day of Qiyamah, there will be guardians and guards at the gates of the hellfire. And when someone is about to enter the hellfire, they'll ask this person, وَقَالُوا, and they will say to this person, like, what are you doing here? Didn't the warner come to you? Then the person entering the hellfire will say, وَقَالُوا, and they will say, لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ. لَوْ كُنَّا, if only we نَسْمَعُ, we would have listened. أَوْ نَعْقِلُ, we would have used our aql. مَا كُنَّا فِي أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ, we would not have been from the companions of the blazing hellfire. And why these two things? Nasma'u. If only on this world we were able to listen to the truth. And sometimes not everybody has opportunity to hear the truth and to listen to the truth and to hear reminders. Allah says, "Oh na'qilu." Or if only we were able just to think about things. If we were able for a moment to restrain our passions and our lower desires and think clearly that this life isn't everything and act like that, we wouldn't have been from the companions of the hellfire. So this is the aql. The aql is that intelligence that Allah has blessed you and I with. We're not beasts, we're not animals, we're not people of lower passions, lower desires that rule our lives. We have a purpose. We have a purpose. And our purpose is that we actually live for the year after. We live for the next world. Our vision is on the next world. And when someone lives for the next world, they do two things. They do two things. Number one is that they connect their lives and their hearts to Allah Ta'ala and those things which Allah loves, number one. And number two, their life's work is about service. Their life's work is about serving people, serving their families, looking after their families, rearing their families, serving their extended families, looking after their extended families, serving their neighbors, their community, their country, the people of this dunya, of this world. That's what our life is about. Our life is not about la'ib, about play. Our life is not about lahu, about entertainment. Our life is not about kibr, about being proud. Our life is not about this dunya, this mata', these goods. These are all deceptions that the aql, if it's unrestrained, the deception will overtake your life. And a person whose deception has overtaken their life is by definition, according to Allah, an unintelligent person. In fact, Allah says, Sharrat Dawab, they are the worst of people. The worst of people. So we as believers, one of the fundamental things about the Quran is that the Quran not only gives you spiritual inspiration, the Quran changes your mindset completely. That the way you look at the world and the way you think about the world, the way you look at your time and your life and your few moments here and your possessions, the Quran makes you see it so clearly that it has a profound effect on your life. That your entire life, direction, family will change. Why? Because your aql comes to the fore. Because finally there is clarity. Because people for many years have been running after their nafs and their hawa and the whisperings of shaitan and lost in this dunya, running, chasing, until what? For what? For nothing. And all the time they're running and chasing after their own ego, after their own amassment, after all this deception, entertainment, all these things, they are wasting their time. And the aql is not stimulated. The aql is not opened. So this is where a time now, where it's time for us to still those passions. And even the busyness sometimes the busyness is also a deception. Why? Because sometimes one gets so busy, we are unable to think. We get so busy, we're unable to reflect. It's as if we are living on autopilot. Every day is the same, every week is the same, running, chasing, next meeting, next project, next deal, all the time running. Now Allah has put a pause. And a pause in life is important. A pause gives you and I and all of us an opportunity to reflect and to use our aql and to think about what is my life really about. And on top of that, Allah has blessed us to be at the door of Ramadan. Can you imagine it's Ramadan, you can't go out? It's Ramadan, you'll be fasting, you can't really go out. Who knows, or you're limited going out. It's time for you to press pause and for myself to press pause and to reflect on our lives until the final pause comes, until death comes. Because death will bring an end to all the business and the deception and the running after this dunya and everything else that we're doing. So now we have a pause before the final pause. Because after the final pause, the next life is resurrection. So now this opportunity here is being presented to us. Difficult or easier situation, it doesn't really matter. Because whether the situation is difficult, whether the situation is easy right now, whether it's challenging, whether it's full of hardship, or whether you're enjoying to have a time or a break, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you have a chance to reflect. You have a chance to reflect and to think and to bring this aql to the fore. So these are some of the verses of the Quran from the aql we make to Allah. Ta'ala must give us uqul, Allah must give us minds that have foresight, that understand that the real vision and the real connection is with the hereafter. That this life, we shouldn't get lost in it, and we should have a clarity of thought. May Allah bless and protect you and your families and your children. May Allah give us and our spouses, and especially Allah give our children also this ability to think and to have clarity of thought, to know what's important, to make good choices, for us to make good choices, in choices inspired by Allah Ta'ala. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We'll have a 2 or 3 minute break and then we will continue, inshallah ta'ala. I want to mention one last thing before I go, is that alhamdulillah many people are trying to do lots of work and trying to help in these times. Things are really desperate. Sometimes when you live in a comfortable social circle, we become cut off from the difficulties that they really exist. We become cut off from what is happening. Many people, I know some of the people personally who are struggling to even have enough food to eat, to buy enough electricity for the next few days. People are in desperate circumstances. So, inshallah, from the Inlight Foundation, we will be launching a fund, inshallah, within the coming week, coming few days, inshallah. It's called the Inlight Community Relief Fund. So the way the fund works is that we are setting up a central pool of funds for relief work, basically. And the way it will work is that we will use the network of imams. So alhamdulillah, we have a good network of imams that have identified a few hundred families already. The imams will identify which families are struggling and in need, and then they will vet them, and we will also vet them from the Inlight side, and then we will give them a very basic monthly stipend just to help in some way. Give each family about 500 rand a month just to help some way, inshallah ta'ala. So this will be launching soon, inshallah. We accept zakah and sadaqah and any donation, and we also will have a 100% distribution policy. So every rand cent will end up with someone who is desperately needing it. So we call upon you to support this venture and to support all the good that is being happening in the community. Don't become complacent. Don't become complacent in our own bubble of comfort when people are really, really struggling. May Allah bless us to be of service. May Allah accept our little service, make it a means of our forgiveness and a means of our entry into paradise. We will send the details soon, inshallah, for the final launch soon, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We'll have just a 2 minute break and we will carry on.